Please help us by clicking the like and subscribe button. Thank you, guys.
Happy Monday, everyone. Here are Thailand's top headlines for today. The Election Commission is holding a public campaign today at City Hall, urging all Bangkok residents to vote during this year's Bangkok election on May 22nd. Trucks with loudspeakers will drive through all 50 of Bangkok's districts. Speakers will urge people to exercise their voting rights, as this is the first governor election in 9 years. Candidates registered at City Hall in March each promised to improve a number of conditions. The Thai Sang Thai candidate, Sitha Tiwari, vows to improve Bangkok's flood drainage system and traffic management. The Democrat Party candidate, Suchatwi Suwannasawat, promises to introduce Wi-Fi coverage throughout the capital. The Move Forward candidate, Wirod Lakhana Disawn, promises to remove fences around Sanam Luang, a public square and park in Bangkok, to give the public more access to it. The elections director warned candidates not to do anything beyond the permissible legal limits of election spending, authorities, and duties. He said campaigning has so far mostly been within the law, except for some complaints about campaign posters. He also said that some councillor candidates exceeded their authority in electioneering. Lastly, he said that some campaign staffers had given T-shirts to their children who are not part of their staff, warning that this could be deemed as buying votes. Police are discussing legal closing time for restaurants in Pattaya, Phuket, and other renowned tourist hotspots, where the closing time issues continues to be a hot topic. Currently, bars and clubs in Thailand, under official laws, are still allowed to reopen as restaurants, and only until midnight at the moment. At a Phuket press conference last week, the Assistant of National Police Chief Lieutenant General Surachet Hakpan, or Big Joke, told reporters that police are going to discuss the closing times with the CCSA and relevant officials in Phuket and elsewhere. Surachet stressed that he sympathized with how business operators are struggling to earn money under the country's current restrictions, which only just made the closing time midnight instead of 11 p.m. on May 1st. Officials in Pattaya also held a meeting about closing times last week after the city's famous walking street closed to cars at certain hours for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, allowing the street to open to walking customers again. This, along with Thailand's entry restrictions being eased since May 1st, is expected to bring in more tourists back to Thailand. Representatives from the local bars asked to make the closing time 3 a.m. instead of the current time midnight.
Good Morning Thailand gets up to 80,000 viewers per week, and we'd like to weaponise our audience for you.
That's right. So if you have a business or property or even your house that you'd like to sell.
Private yacht?
Yeah, we could be in space.
I'm not sure about space.
Well, all you have to do is contact us on info@thethaiger.com, and you can hire us up to a day or even a week, and we'll go to your property and do the show live.
Good Morning Thailand, coming your way.
A 23-year-old South African woman is praying for justice as she is currently serving a life sentence in Nakhon Si Thammarat Central Prison. Ashley Ustuzan, who has been sentenced to life in a Thai prison, has finally been able to speak to her mother after nearly 3 months of COVID quarantine. She was sentenced after being accused and convicted by a Thai court of accepting a package of MDMA at the Koh Samui restaurant in late 2020. Ashley had worked as a kindergarten teacher on Koh Samui before she got laid off during the pandemic. It was reported that she had difficulty finding a full-time job offering work permit when she met her then-boyfriend, American expat Tristan Nettles, where he offered her a job as a manager at a new breakfast and brunch restaurant, which would secure her with a valid work permit. Tristan is a self-confessed international dark web drug dealer who uses bitcoins to sell and import drugs through a school's main office. In 2020, Ashley then signed for a package containing 250 grams of MDMA, an ingredient in ecstasy, according to a GoFundMe account. Earlier this year, calls for Ashley's release were renewed, and several South African media outlets reported on the case after Tristan made a website outlining what he says are details on the drug operation. He claims that Ashley was not involved. Ashley is currently incarcerated in the Nakhon Si Thammarat Central Prison in the southern province of Nakhon Si Thammarat. On Friday, Ashley was able to speak to her mother for the first time last week since February. All inmates have reportedly been quarantined after a few people were infected with COVID-19. National Tree Day is coming up next Friday, May 13th, and Phuket is getting ready to celebrate. Phuket authorities plan to host a public event where people can come and plant trees. The event will start at Wat Kosit Vihan Temple and move to To Sa National Forest Reserve, which is behind the temple off Damrong Road. The event will begin at 8 a.m. with religious ceremonies at the temple, and registration will begin at 8:30 a.m. The Phuket governor will then give an address at 9 a.m., and tree planting will start at 10 a.m. Attendees are asked to wear yellow at the event. They must also comply with COVID-19 restrictions, including wearing masks, passing a temperature check, and cleaning their hands with alcohol. As a major tourist hub, Phuket struggles to maintain its environment. Last year, the hospitality brand Banyan Tree Group launched an Earth Day getaway campaign at its resorts in several provinces, including Phuket. Last week, the president of the Kamala Tambon Administrative Organization said since the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, fish populations that were gone years ago have now reappeared. Good news for Thai kids around the kingdom. Thailand is planning to reopen schools on May 17th. A store owner in northern Thailand's province of Nakhon Sawan is donating old school uniforms to families who don't have money to buy their own. The store owner said that this is the second year the donation handout has been organized. He said that last year there was a similar event where parents came to give away old school uniforms to children in need. The store owner said that the store is now accepting donations for school uniforms. This news comes as Thailand's Department of Internal Trade is working with retailers to provide 10 to 69% discounts on school uniforms. All 7 branches of Suksa Panwanit stores, which are under state supervision, will slash the price of uniforms by 50% and textbooks by 20 to 40%.